Hey, good morning. Good afternoon, wherever you are, whatever time it is that you're watching this video. Congratulations if you watched yesterday's video. And you have every right to still come down on me. We went 4 for 5, and you still have every single right to be upset with me because I pulled the Julio Urias play, which hit, and substituted it for Dylan Cease, which did not. So we instead technically it was a 5 for 6 night because we had the Garrett Cole play locked in there. But just the tool itself, we go 4 for 5, would have been the tool went 5 for 5, right? The Odd Shopper Premium tool, you get a week free below, went 5 for 5 last night. Shander went 4 for 5 last night because for whatever reason, he's an idiot and such is life. Today, well, we're back and we've got a couple more that we're going to hit. So we appreciate you hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing. Let's go from there. Patrick Wisdom is our first player up right now. Now, the Wiz kid out in Chicago, is hitless over his last 2. In fact, 3 of his last 4, he's hitless. However, the season has seen him crush the baseball whenever he's on top of it. The problem, of course, is that his K rate is just astronomically too high. He's going up against Jesus Luzardo, who will certainly K, but there's some mistakes to be left there. And look, Wisdom is just a tough out right now as Chicago is playing well. That's usually coinciding with him. We're going over 1/2 bag. We're getting a hit. That's it. 1 hit. 1 stinking hit for Patrick Wisdom. That's going to be the theme today, but that's where we begin in Miami. All right, Kansas City at Minnesota. That means Joey Gallo for us. Now, Gallo has had a hit in each of his last 3 games and has seen the baseball exceptionally well despite just 1 hit. Now, that's fine. You take advantage of 3-4 at-bats. That's all we need. Spot appearance here or there, I'm not worried about. It's the walks that I would be concerned about. But we haven't seen a multi-walk game except once, really, this year. So no major concern there. 3 to 4 at-bats, depending on a walk. Ideally, if they keep him and, you look at maybe the game itself against Jordan Lyles. So that's a pretty good sign that Lyles isn't just going to just rear back and mow him down. Probably won't walk him either, unless it's intentional, which I don't think that's going to be the case. Jordan Lyles has a good enough walk rate where he's not just going to walk everybody. That helps us because Gallo, again, we're only looking at 1 hit, just getting on first. We don't need a double. This isn't a 1.5 total bases play that you see at the books. All right, let's go to Brad Miller in Texas taking on the Yankees. Now, this one, as far as just the matchup is concerned, and what you think about maybe more the pitching matchup for the Yankees, Clark Schmidt, who, has had some pretty decent spots when it comes to striking people out and not walking them. It's just the in-between stuff that's been a little dicey. And in the case of Miller, he's got DeGrom on the hill. You would anticipate this is going to be a tough game for the Yankees right away. I think Miller's in a good spot, limited as far as we haven't seen a ton quite yet. But I think you're seeing a guy still who's going to get enough at-bats in this game, really against Clark Schmidt. So even if it's back-end lineup, what have you, I depending on where he is, I'm okay with the opportunities for Brad Miller. And despite the average and really just him struggling as of recent, we've seen spurts, like we've seen streaks where he's gone on 3-4 games and he's been able to comfortably at least get a hit. That's all we want. This is what it looks like on PrizePicks so far. You've got Patrick Wisdom, Joey Gallo, Brad Miller. Let's go. Let's see what the tool says here. We've bounced around. We've got some other options, but these are the ones that we like, that we've highlighted the most. All right, so you've got 2 left here that we're going to build. I already told you about the free week that you have below. It's really super easy. I'm going to match your first deposit on PrizePicks. How about this? I'm going to match your first deposit on PrizePicks up to $100, and you'll get a month free of Stochastic Plus, which is great because you can use Stochastic Plus. You see our projections here that we have, and these are the sharpest projections on the planet. Just look at the success that we have as a company And it's not just Alex Baker, Steve Buzzard, Tom Kennedy, and it's everybody that's using it as well. So this is what you'd find. You look at projections, you'd look at fantasy score, and then you can mix and match with what you have here, hitter fantasy score, etc. So you have a second tool. Not only do you have the OddsShopper premium tool to beat PrizePicks, but you also have our fantasy projections to play off of any fantasy category. All right. In this case, hitter. So let's say we've got next up Brendan Donovan. And Donovan has been struggling. 3 of his last 4. He had that breakout game to kind of open up the series against San Francisco, but now on the road against the Dodgers. And this one offering not as easy of a matchup. You've got Dustin May on the hill. So what can you do? Can you take advantage of him? Yes. Yes, you can. I actually think Dustin May is beatable if you were just looking at this game in general. Jack Flaherty is a concern because he will strike 5-6 guys out, but he will walk everyone. And that's not great. But we don't give a shit about that because he's on St. Louis. This is probably going to be a higher scoring game too. And I think that would favor at-bats. And Brendan Donovan is going to take advantage of that. And we've seen struggle, don't get me wrong, but that's what happens when you're not getting as much as many at-bats, plate appearances. And that's, I think, going to change in a higher scoring game, which I would definitely favor the over in that one. Last one, we've got Paul DeJong here. And, I think DeJong has been recent, small sample size, but we're getting hits. Multi-hits in 2 of the 4 games that he's played. He's got a hit in 3 of the 4. Does that continue throughout the rest of the season? Probably not, but he's getting at-bats. Comes off that 4 at-bat game. Who cares if they get pounded by the Giants? So that's your PrizePicks flex play. Joey Gallo, Brad Miller, Brendan Donovan, Paul DeJong. We're going over. 3 of the 5, we don't give a shit. 4 of the 5, double our money. 5 is 10x. That's 10 shows right there. So that's all. You just hit 1, we're good for 10 shows. Appreciate y'all rolling with us. As always, we'll see you on the Odd Shop.